Hey, my name is Bree. Today we're going to be making a stuffed frog. So I'm just starting out here making patterns based off of the sketches that I made in my sketchbook. These are going to be super vague. I can always change them later if I need to. Now I'm just cutting these out so that I can lay them over the fabric and trace onto the fabric. Now that all my pattern pieces are cut out, I'm going to lay my felt out and I'm going to put the pattern pieces on top so that I can cut or trace them. I'm gonna leave some seam allowance on this, so the first time I cut, I messed up. I'll use that felt later for something else, but I'm gonna be leaving room around the edges so that I can sew with enough room and it'll be just a little bit bigger than what my initial idea was. If you're going to be following along with this tutorial, make sure that you're cutting out 2 body pieces, 1 of the bottom, 4 leg pieces, 4 eye pieces, and 4 of the hind leg pieces. I ended up not using the white pieces that I cut out here. You can if you'd like to, but I decided I liked mine just plain green. So I'm just going to sew around the edges of the 2 front legs, the 2 hind legs, and then the eyes. You're going to want to make sure to leave some kind of opening so you can stuff it later. For the 2 front legs, I left the top bit open that will eventually attach to the body. For the hind legs, I left just a spot open towards the upper curve. And then for the eyes, I just left the bottom open. I messed up initially when I first did this and I sewed the body pieces together and then the bottom as well. Don't do this. You're going to want to put the body pieces together after you've attached the other appendages, limbs. Not sure what the best word for that is. Long story short, make sure that you put the 2 front legs, the 2 back legs, and then the eyes in before you close the body up like that. This area I'm pointing to right here is going to be the area that I leave open for the stuffing, and I'm going to do that on both of the hind legs. So here's what the hind legs look like once they've been sewn around the edges with that opening there. And here is what the eye is gonna look like. I'm just gonna turn it right side out right now. And once you've turned it right side out, the seams are gonna be hidden on the inside, so it's gonna look nice and crisp. Alright, so now that I have all the pieces ready, I'm going to go ahead and take the legs and turn them right side out. I'm going to use a mechanical pencil that doesn't have the lead out to try to poke those arm little toesies out. And then once that's done, I'm going to make sure that there are no holes in them. When I sewed them, they ended up with a lot of holes and it was difficult to get them to turn right side out. So I ended up just changing the design. So instead of having little toes like that, it's just going to be like a half circle. And I'm just going to take this opportunity to turn everything right side out so that I don't have to do it later. That way I can stuff it and sew everything closed. You might notice right here that my pencil is poking through, and that's when I decided that I should just change the design completely. I actually tried using super glue first to close this up, and when that didn't work, everything just kind of got stuck together. I just changed it. Okay, so I lost my footage here. I went ahead and stuffed the front legs, the back legs, and the eyes, and then sewed everything shut so that I wouldn't lose any of the stuffing. I then attached it to the body pieces, and then went ahead and just hand stitched around the edge of the body pieces to close it most of the way. So here I'm just showing the stitches I did on the outside. It's just a really basic chain stitch. It doesn't have to be perfect, and I definitely am not super great at doing the stitch, but as long as it's strong enough to hold it together, that's all that matters. I realized here on the outside that I messed up and some of my stitches are a little too long, so I'm going to fix that a little bit later. But first I'm going to stitch on the front arms, and I'm just going in and out with my needle for this. You're going to want to make sure that you tie it off really strongly though, so that these don't come off. Alright, so now that I have the arm stitched on, I'm going to use some super glue to hide those bad stitches. If I had more time, I would just go back and re-stitch them, but I was running pretty short on time. I'm just using an old pillow to stuff this frog. You want to make sure that you stuff it full enough that it's not going to be too squishy, but that's basically just kind of preference. It's however you want it to be, but I like mine to be kind of firm. I want him to be able to sit up. So here I'm just using that seam stitch again to close up the frog. Again, you want to make sure that it's tight enough that it's going to hold everything shut. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you definitely want it to be nice and strong. Alrighty, so he is looking nice and plump. So now you just need some features. I'm going to go ahead and go in with a Sharpie to do eyes, nose, and a mouth. If I had more time, I'd like to embroider this, but again, I'm starting out of time. The Sharpie is nice because it is a permanent option. It will fade a little bit over time, but it can always be added back on too. Alright, we're done. Let me know what you thought about this video. If you liked it, go ahead and leave me a like. And if you feel like it, you can subscribe, and I'll see you next week.